So this is the first North American album by the band The Who. It's autographed by the 4 original members. You can see Pete Townsend right there. I believe Roger Daltrey right there. John Entwistle there, and it's kind of hard to see, but you can see Keith Moon's signature here, sort of in the dark and near his face.
Where did they come from, and how did you find them?
I worked in a used record store as almost a child or a teenager.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was 12. I started there.
Wow.
Paid under the table, obviously. The person who owned this album and another Who album that was signed approached him and said, yeah, I'm selling these 2 autographed Who albums. Would you like to buy them? And I said, of course. That was in around 1983, early 80s in Nova Scotia.
How much did you pay for it? Do you remember?
I seem to remember it was $75 each. And I think the fellow that he bought them from said that he got them signed in Toronto. He worked as a sound man at a venue called the Rock Pile, which was part of the Masonic Temple in Toronto. And the Who played there in 1969.
Well, I think you have fantastic foresight, because even at that time, I think that was a relative bargain. The fact that you managed to acquire these, because you may well know, being a Who fan, that Keith Moon wasn't around for too long. Unfortunately, yes. He passed. He was quite young when he passed.
Yes.
So the fact that you've got a fully signed album here that includes Keith Moon signed, it is in the dark area, so it's a little difficult to see, but it is there. When you add him into the mix, it really does raise the value. And,
I see.
And recently, that has shown in auction prices, because the value of fully signed Who albums is really going up quite steadily. They're one of the foremost rock bands that are collected now. They're really up there with the Rolling Stones, getting towards the Beatles now in terms of how collectible they are. They're very sought after. And in anything vintage, which is another key area here, is the fact that it's on a great album, My Generation, which came out late 1965. So to a Who collector, it's one of the most sought after things to have signed at auction for this particular album. Even taking into account the fact that the signature is a little difficult to see, it's definitely there. I would be expecting an estimate at auction of between around $2,000 to $4,000.
Wow,
Yeah.
no kidding.
Yeah, very sought after,
Wow,
very
very
collectible.
surprised.
It's that X factor of not having Keith around for a long, long time that's made the signatures so collectible.